Hi, my name's Phil. I'd like to talk about politics. So, Darren Grimes is embarrassing himself again, whining that he's been demonetised on Facebook and that he gave up TV work to be a poorly paid councillor out of public duty. But apart from the lack of respect he's showing other councillors up and down the country, I want to just pick up on something he said there. I gave up a TV gig to serve my community, he said. No, mate, you were fired before you even put yourself forward as a candidate. So first GB News sacked him, now Facebook have. Are there no far-right cesspits which will give Grimy a home? Imagine how embarrassing this is. Shunned by his own people. But first, for daily news and politics, please click the subscribe button to stay notified. So Darren Grimes is making a fool of himself again. I didn't know he was deputising for Lee Anderson. He's been whining about getting demonetised on Facebook. He claims it's because he's now an elected councillor. Now, I don't really, in all honesty, know how monetisation on Facebook works. Is there a rule which says elected officials can't use it for funding? But he did post something which appears to be Facebook's policy, which does indeed indicate that elected officials cannot use monetisation tools. Bad luck, Grimy. But although I want to examine that in a bit more detail, as well as something else he said, I want to first pick up on this part of his whinge. Quote, I gave up a TV gig to serve my community. So, first of all, he's a councillor for Durham and he was living in London while he worked for GB News. So, Durham's not his community. Now, Durham is in the northeast of England and Grimy is from the northeast of England. So you maybe think, well, maybe that's what he meant. The community of his upbringing, right? But so, no, because Grimy's from Newcastle, which is Tyne and Wear, not Durham. But the main point is that Darren Grimes did not actually give up a TV gig. Grimes was dismissed by GB News before he ever became a candidate for Reform UK. In fact, when the news came out that Grimes was being let go by GB News, first of all, he tries to claim that he's the one who left them, right? I left. All right then, whatever, mate. He said it was an exciting opportunity to go independent. There was no talk of, I'm going into politics. I'm leaving to go into politics. No. It was to be an independent broadcaster. That was his brand of copium, as if GB News were restricting what he could say and now he would be unleashed. Maybe Tarantino could do a film about his brave new adventure, Grimy Unchained. So anyway, Darren Grimes claimed that he left GB News so that he could be an independent broadcaster, not so that he could move halfway up the country to earn pennies being a local councillor. So he didn't give up a TV gig to be a local councillor living in his mum's attic, right? If you believe Grimes, he gave up a TV gig to make it big as an independent gobshite. If you believe logic, he was sacked because GB News are hemorrhaging money and he was demanding that they up his salary to a tenner a week, which, as right-wingers believe that northern monkeys have no need for more than £1 a month, seemed a bit excessive. Not that there seems to be any hard feelings, because Grimy went on GB News to rant at Facebook for demonetising him, claiming it was a blow against free speech. That old chestnut. So let's see here. Your free speech. How is it being curtailed then? Have you been banned from Facebook? No, he can still post. He just can't extract money. Again, I don't know why Facebook have this rule. Is it a legal thing? Is it their rule? I don't know. I was thinking maybe he should give YouTube a go. I'm not aware, I could be wrong on this admittedly, but I'm not aware of any reason why a local council can't run a monetised YouTube channel. But then you go to YouTube and it goes, he's got a channel. It's called Darren Grimes Unleashed. The Unleashed is in capitals. You've got to pay attention to the Unleashed bit, not the Darren Grimes bit, right? So you're thinking, well, why complain? He can get his extra pennies from YouTube. Well, and again, I have to point out, I don't really know much about Facebook, but whatever success he has on that platform, he's obviously struggling to replicate on YouTube. His videos don't do very well. He's not helping himself by not actually posting much either. I manage 2 a day, 3 quite often. And I have to do some research, even for like Schadenfreude themed videos like this. I'm not going to claim that this took me the longest time to do. But most of them, there's a fair amount of research into them. Grimy just has to open his mouth and whinge about foreigners and the woke establishment. And he can't even do that. Interestingly, he's threatened to sue someone on Twitter for claiming he was sacked for sexual misconduct rather than just being shit. So we may get more entertainment out of this tantrum in time. In reality, I don't know the exact reasons why he parted with GB News, but I do know this. since going independent, something he made a big deal of. Oh, I can now go independent. I can be my own voice. I can do my own thing. It's going to be great. Yeah. He did create a YouTube channel. And despite having been well known, he's well known within his niche and being part of a far right collective who are happy to amplify one another, he's been unable to make it pay. He was obviously making enough money from Facebook to be worth throwing a toddler tantrum about when it was taken away from him, because let's face it, by his own admissions, he's broken their rules, but not on YouTube. Now, I've said in the past, anyone who thinks they're a decent broadcaster, if you see someone on mainstream television, doesn't matter, it's BBC, ITV, GB News, wherever, right? If they think they're a decent broadcaster, they should absolutely be able to make it as an independent on social media these days. It's the same skills. As far as I can tell, it's exactly the same skills, in fact. And conversely, if you can't make it on YouTube, I don't know about Facebook, but if you can't make it on YouTube, I'm going to suggest you're not actually a very good broadcaster. I'm also going to suggest that GB News came to the same conclusion themselves. And finally, this point about councillors not getting paid much. Now, this is true enough. I've said myself, I think they should get a proper wage. That way you'd get a more diverse council. The problem we have is councils are mostly full of retired people and people who own a business which runs itself. You do get some, but relatively few ordinary working people, because it's really hard to fit around a full-time job. And even when you do get some councillors who do have ordinary jobs, they tend not to be very senior councillors, because often it's impossible to make the daytime meetings. But nonetheless, Grimey knew the situation he was going into. If he didn't like it and he's too shit to make YouTube work, where, by the way, I'm not aware of any rules which prevent him monetizing YouTube. I mean, I'm not going to, say definitively, but I will say that his channel has memberships active, which is a form of monetization. So that suggests he's fine on YouTube. So maybe he could just, if he can't make YouTube work because he's too shit, maybe he could just quit his councillor job and beg GB News for his old job back. After all, according to him, he left them, not the other way around. How about it, Grimey? Either stop whining about your income, or just, what is it the right wing believe? Just go and get a better job. Get a better job. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And for more content, you could subscribe to the channel or even join for access to streams and behind the scenes updates. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.